This is Michael Allen with iDateMedia.com, and this is episode number 9. And in this episode, I will discuss ways for you, the niche dating site owner, to disrupt the dating space. Let's get into it. So let's look at the word disrupt. Disrupt has been around for a few years, and you've seen it in the cryptocurrency slash blockchain space where Bitcoin is going to be a financial disruptor. All these new technologies coming out using blockchain are going to disrupt the space, whether it's real estate, banking, excuse me, or any other space for that matter. You see that term used a lot. So, but how it's going to be used in the niche market dating space is that you have to, you basically have to come up with ideas and ways to disrupt the market that you're in. And if you look at a lot of these dating sites that are out there, there's really nothing out there that's really disruptive. They're basically just doing what they've been doing, and I call this resting on their laurels. And they've just been doing the same thing over and over again, and people are used to that. But what you don't see in the dating space, particularly the niche dating space, is that no one's out there trying to disrupt it and create this massive brand for themselves. So, as a niche dating site owner, this is where you need to disrupt the space. So, if you're getting into, for example, a dating site for people who love hiking, then you need to disrupt that space. There are other hiking dating sites out there, or dating sites that have that niche listed. But if your sole site is specifically for single people that love hiking, then you must disrupt the space. So some ways that you can do that. One of the ways that you can do that is by creating a podcast, and that's exactly what I do. Creating a podcast opens the door to more traffic, more exposure, more brand, simply because when you create a podcast and you've got an RSS feed of your podcast, you can submit that everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google. There's tons of places that you can list your podcast feed. That way, when you submit a new podcast, it gets picked up via the RSS feed. So, what I'm going to explain to you right now is how you can create your own podcasting that's really going to cost you nothing. If you've got a cell phone and you've got a computer, then you can podcast just like I do. It's not going to cost you anything. So a couple of the things you're going to need, you're going to want some video editing software. And there's this amazing application called DaVinci Resolve. You can Google DaVinci Resolve. It's a free video editing software. And I hear people are leaving professional video editing applications like Premiere by Adobe, even some Avid people leaving that to use DaVinci Resolve. I use it. It's amazing. The other thing you're going to need is a YouTube account, because for every podcast you do, you want to create, you want to upload that podcast to YouTube. If you look at iDateMedia.com and you click on podcast, you can see below my podcast stream, I post all the YouTube videos. So I upload these to YouTube. They get indexed. Google indexes the videos based on the keywords that are entered when you upload that video. So YouTube account, that's free as well. The next thing is you're going to need podcast hosting. Excuse me. That's a place, you don't want to host your own files because you can't stream them. If you want to do that, it's going to cost you a lot of money to set up your own streaming server. There are sites out there. One in particular is buzzsprout.com. They have a free podcasting hosting solution. And you get so many hours a month, and they retain the podcast for 3 months. The next price up, the membership package they have, is $12 a month, where you get, I believe it's 4 or 5 hours, and the podcast episodes will stay there, so they're not deleted after 90 days. I use them. If you look again on the podcast page here at iDateMedia.com, you'll see BuzzFeed in action. It's literally right there. So every episode that you upload to YouTube, you want to upload it to Buzzsprout. And when you do that, it gets sent out to all of your podcast feeds. So You want to record the podcast. All you do, it's very simple. You can set your phone down and put on the video, like you're going to take a video, and just press record and start talking about the market that you're in. If you're in hiking, then you want to start creating podcasts around hiking and singles. People who come to your hiking singles website, they love hiking. That's why they're there. You want to give them information. You want to give them information on hiking. Maybe there's some places that you've been or some gear that you use. People will want to absorb this information from you, and podcasting is a great way to do that. So once you get your system set up, you can start podcasting. In a different podcast, I will discuss. Actually, I'll do a video on how to use Resolve. So after you record your video, your audio podcast on your phone, get that video on your computer, import it into Resolve, and then add some images, and then export it to an MP4 file, and then upload that to YouTube and Buzzsprout. But I'll do another video on that to show you how to do that. So back to other ways to disrupt. So if you look out there, look for dating sites that have podcasts. You'll be hard pressed to find them. I haven't found any. The podcasts that I do see are just really weak, general dating stuff. Nothing in the niche market sector, which is where you are. So start that podcast. It's not going to cost you anything. The amount of time you spend talking, it varies. You don't want anything short, like 3 or 4 minutes. Something around the 15 minutes to maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't go over an hour recording your podcast. It can get boring and people may just bail. So you want to 15 to 30 minutes is good. And you want to be precise with the information you're giving. You don't want to go out on tangents where you're talking about this and that, on and on and on and on. You just want to get that information out there to them. So get that podcast and get it going. Once you've got a Buzzsprout account, they've got this embedding code. You can put that on your front page. So people who hit your front page, they'll put it below the fold, and they'll see it and start listening to it. That also creates transparency because people hear you. They hear you talking about your site. They're putting what they're hearing with your site. They're seeing this and they're like, okay, this is the owner of this site. He's talking about this. That gives more street credit, and that's becoming more transparent. And you have to be transparent, especially in the dating world. There's a lot of dating sites out there, and you've got to be transparent and do something different. And being transparent and doing podcasts, that's being disruptive. The idea here is to create more exposure, get people to your site, and turn them into members, turn them into paying members. The next thing about being disruptive in the dating space is you want to post content. Some people claim that posting content all the time is time consuming, tedious, and they don't want to do it. Well, there are ways you can do this that will free up a lot of time to do other things. And one of the websites that I use is called Hootsuite. And Hootsuite has a free membership that allows for 3 social media accounts. So how it works is you can create a piece of content and schedule it to go out on any future date. So when you add your social media accounts, the free ones, you can add Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Those are the 3 that I would add. And then you can start pushing content, writing tweets, posts, and then schedule these things to go out. What I like to do is I'll spend a Saturday, I'll spend a few hours on a Saturday, and I'll create content for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'll schedule it to go out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I won't do content on the weekends unless it's something important I need to get out. But Monday through Friday is really good. You want to post that content at about 9 a.m. Eastern time. Based on what Hootsuite has seen over the years, they think that 9 a.m. on Eastern time zone is the best time to push that content. So schedule your content to go out at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, and The content should be relevant to your dating site, hiking stuff, or whatever your niche is. So you want to find some images that are out there. Pexels, Pexels.com is a great website for free stock photos. You don't have to pay for them. You can use them for whatever you want. So you can find images out there to push this content. Make sure you're pushing this content. Now, I take things a bit further. I'll go out and post content. If I write a blog, I'll push that blog content out to Medium, Reddit, other social media channels. But for the most part, those three channels, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, are great ways. Google indexes that stuff. So those are three at a minimum that you should be using to push that content out there. It's pushing content is important. Not only does Google like to see this content being pushed out there, but people want to consume your content. If you're talking about hiking and you're a singles dating site, maybe you have an event that's going to happen, or you're talking about gear, or you're talking about anything related to hiking, and maybe you're the authority on this subject within this space. Well, people want to consume this. So whether they see it on the social media sites or they listen to it on your podcast, they want this content. That is creating your brand. It's disrupting the status quo of that space, and people recognize that. They will gravitate to you. That will turn into members, and that will turn into revenue. So you want to make sure that you're doing podcasts, you're being transparent, and you're pushing content out there. All of these things that I've told you about they're free. It's not going to cost you anything. Utilize what is free, because you can still disrupt the dating space with all of these free components. Can you expand it with paid, with upgraded memberships at some of these places? Sure. You don't need to, though. You can use the free stuff. The next thing that you might want to think about doing is partnering with a matchmaker. So the way matchmakers work, they basically have a client and they want to go out and find a match for that client. If you partner with a matchmaker, that matchmaker would say, hey, wait a minute, you're a hiking website. I've got clients who have an interest in hiking. What's it going to take for me to get access to your clients or your members? And so that's where a partnership could be set up between you and the matchmaker. Now, for example, don't just settle on one. And the example I'm going to use is I'm originally from Texas. And so Texas is a big state. And there are hundreds of matchmakers in the state of Texas from all over. Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, you name it, all these there's matchmakers everywhere. So what you can do is partner with hundreds of different matchmakers by offering out your member base to them, not giving them the contact information per se, but if you're a hiking dating site that's dedicated to the state of Texas, then you want to access these matchmakers and say, hey, I've got 10,000 people on my site. You need this. Let's come up with a plan. Whether she or he is paying you per lead, or you're promoting their service for a fee, or whatever it is. You want to partner with matchmakers in your area. You'll be very surprised how quickly they will latch onto you, because their objective, again, is to find a match for their clients. And if you've got 10,000 potential clients, they're going to jump all over that, because they make money when they make a match. So deal with partnering with matchmakers. So that's something you want to check out. The other thing you want to think about is there's an old saying that build it and they will come. And I subscribe to the notion that build it and they won't come. And I'll give you a prime example of why I say this. This is related to, okay, I'm going to build the most amazing dating site and they're all going to come in. Well, history has shown that is absolutely not true. Case in point, a few years ago, there was an app called Spark Starter. I had met the owners at iDate a few years back. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this app. It wasn't really that amazing. It was based on matching friends from other people's friends. It failed. The website is now defunct. It's gone. The whole app, it just failed. It failed because they just thought that if I'm going to build this amazing app, that people are going to come to it. It's not it. It's not how it works in dating. You can have the crappiest looking site, but you have millions of members. That's what matters. People don't come to the site for what it really looks like. They come because there's the content, or which in dating is the members. That's what they're looking for. It's there. So take a look at passionsnetwork.com. I did a podcast with Michael Carter, the owner. I've known Michael for years. If you look at his network, it is not that pretty. If you compare Passions Network to, say, Match.com or eHarmony, Match and eHarmony win hands down design-wise. But what Michael has is 15 years, millions of members, and a crappy looking site. But it works because he has the member base. So don't think you have to build all these amazing features and all the members are going to come. It's not going to work that way. You'll find that you might just fail. So it's critical that you focus on your market. Get a nice dating site. Make sure it doesn't look like crap. We feel we have great dating software. Farmers Only uses it. Thai Love Lines uses it. Once you get the dating site, then focus on getting the content. That's your marketing. Not so much, I've got to have these new features. I've got to have these new functions. I've got to do all this. No. Focus on getting members. You're a matchmaker, whether you want to believe it or not. You're a matchmaker. That's why you created a dating site. If you're a hiking style dating site, that's your market. Hiking. You're bringing these singles together. You're the matchmaker for that. Disrupt. The key word right there is disrupt. So in closing, on how to disrupt the dating space, you want to do what I previously said: podcasting, pushing content, being transparent. So some of the key things are: find your niche and target it. Use those disruptive strategies that I've talked about. Find people in the niche and partner with them. And there's an old saying, well, it's not even an old saying, it's a saying: disrupt or be disrupted. So if you're doing the disruption, the people that you leave in your wake are disrupted. They don't even know what's happening. Be different. Go out there and do these things, and you will see success. I've said this before: in dating, you're not going to see success overnight. It's going to take time. For the people that put in the time and the effort, they see and reap the rewards. It does take time. So I've got Farmers Only. I believe they have 4 million active members now. They've been doing it for a few years. One of my friends owns spiritualsingles.com. She's been doing it for years. Michael Carter's been doing it for years. These are their full-time jobs now, and that should tell you something. So I know it may be tough starting out. Creating a dating site, you've got to worry about getting the members in, then you got to worry about the marketing. Do these things. Lean on me for help. I'm here. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've been in the dating space for over 25 years, and I've been doing dating software for 20 years. I've run my own dating sites. I know how it is. I know how hard it is to start, but if you follow through and you don't give up, then you'll be rewarded in the end. This is Michael Allen with iDateMedia.com, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.